What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to ICNV Drivers Edition, and today I got a video that's probably going to be interesting to a lot of you people, and then some of you are going to leave here probably with a little chip on your shoulder. But we have to talk about the topic. Now, this topic here is something I thought about maybe 3 years ago, and after releasing my recent video, is the Corvette C8 market flooded? I ran across a couple people that started some interesting conversations truly focused around the C8 Z06 and some other conversations, and it led me to believe, are Corvette loyalists spoiled? Let's get into this conversation. Okay, for those of you first tuning in, my name is Sho, and this is ICNV Drivers Edition. This is what I would like to call the car enthusiast hangout. We just sit here and talk about interesting conversations. I share some of my life experiences with you, and I make videos of interesting things I experience. So now that we got that out the way, we are also an interactive community, which means if you reach out to me on any one of my social media platforms, I would do my best to respond and possibly make a video about the conversation that we have. Now, let's dive back into this one. So like I mentioned before, if you haven't checked it out, go check out this video. After this video came out, I received a couple of messages and had a couple of conversations with some friends and so forth, and a lot of people that I've met throughout the last 2 years who own Corvettes, and that goes from C7s to C6s to C5s to C8s. And the conversation piece kind of shifted more towards the C8 Z06, which to me is completely understandable because it's the hot car of the moment, although the E-Ray is just being released really, and we know the ZR1 is creeping around the corner. But for many of us, especially the C7 generation, you know the C8 Z06 is the next big thing, and the car that's going to be probably drawing all the attention that most of the Corvette loyalists are going to own, and most new Corvette buyers looking for that power is going to want to have, because it's a completely different animal. But what I started to realize in my conversations with my Corvette friends are the guys that have historically owned Corvettes, and I mean one or two, feel like they've been loyal to the brand. The conversation always drifts back into the pricing of the Corvette C8 Z06. And before it got revealed or released, the masses, there were almost arguments weekly from the big time YouTubers who know everything to previous Corvette owners. And I even got caught up in it, where they believe this car would start somewhere between $80,000 and $85,000. My target range was always $90 to $95K. I just felt like for what they were putting together, all the rumors that were being put out, I couldn't see this car coming in higher than 100,000, because I just felt like GM was going to say we're going to build the first true supercar for under 100 grand. But when it got revealed and the starting price was 106, honestly, it didn't surprise me at all, especially after I saw the reveal and saw what you were getting for that money. But that's just the problem. When you think about how rare and all the production that's went into this car, we're talking about a naturally aspirated 5.5 liter flat plane crank engine and all the carbon fiber and so forth you can get with this car. Why would they give that away? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Would you give away such a unique vehicle that you put all this effort into designing, producing, researching, and then finally bringing to the table? Nobody asks his Lamborghini to give away a Performante. Nobody asks his Porsche to give away a GT3. So why do we expect GM to give away a C8 Z06 that is an amazing track car and putting down performance like the two we just mentioned? Like I've stated before, Corvette has been known as the poor man's supercar. And so because of that categorization by many people, they felt like GM was supposed to give away this car. And I think that's become the history with Corvette. Because it was limited to a certain target of people, a certain market buyer, that they really couldn't ask premium dollar for all the craziness they were putting inside of a car. I mean, think about this for a second. They built the C7 Corvette ZR1, and that car started out around 120 grand, and the most expensive one I ever saw listed for sale at MSRP was close to 150. And they still had to give away $5,000 rebates to move that car. So if you truly think about that, they built one of the fastest cars ever, one of the fastest track production front engine cars ever, and called it the Corvette ZR1. And they caught problems moving it. So a lot of the true or long-term Corvette buyers, or call themselves loyalists, have bought outstanding performing cars for, let's be real, for pennies on a dollar. So they would actually believe that now with the C8 Z06, this is supposed to be the case. And when they can't, or starting to realize that this car is something else and the market for it is pulling so high, they have a problem with it. They start to bash the car. They start to bash the people that buy the car. And I think that's where we start to see the spoiledness of our previous Corvette owners, or should we say loyalists. Let's take a quick break, and do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, help me reach my goal of 25 before 25, which is 2,500 subscribers before the year 2025. We're chasing the movement. Be part of it. Join the channel, especially if you like the content you've seen so far. We have more stuff like this coming your way, and you too can help guide the focus of the content that comes your way. So subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Do I think there's anything wrong with being a Corvette loyalist? No. If you truly like the brand and been a part of the brand for countless years, then I commend you. Because for me, the first Corvette that truly pulled me in was the C5. I actually liked the C6 because of the motorized top, and the C7 became the first Corvette that I actually owned. Then I bought a C8. Now, for me personally, the C8 to me is a completely different animal, and I truly believe for any true Corvette loyalist, the C8 is all you need. Now, yes, there will be a few of you feel like I need more power, or you need the recognition status of owning the C8 Z06. But what I really want to get across to you is, if this is truly GM's last hurrah, and they're making the most powerful naturally aspirated V8 ever made, why would they give it away? As we've seen year to date, Corvette production for the C8 Z06 hasn't crossed 10,000 units yet. And if they keep production low, they should maintain the ability to get every dollar they're asking for out of this car. Because as of right now, it's more so a niche car than it is a demand car or a flood the market car. And what I mean by that is, even though there are dealers that are buying them or ordering them for dealership inventory, they are still being limited to the amount of cars they can actually produce. But I will say one thing to you though. I do expect going forward, possibly in 2025, to see a reduction in the base C8s made and more in the niche cars. So you should see an increased volume in possibly the C8 Z06, the Corvette E-Ray, and drifting into the new C8 ZR1. That should be very exciting for a lot of people. And as for these lists that still exist, although many people are falling off quicker than we actually think, some of these people that are still hanging there that want to get a car will be able to get their hands on one a lot sooner than they were thinking. So if you're one of those people on the list and they told you 2-3 years out, you might want to start anticipating on your name or ownership experience being called within the next 18 months. So trust me, with people falling off the list, that just means your opportunities come a lot sooner. Now, I'm not trying to drag this video out. It was just a quick topic I had to touch bases on, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, but what I will sit there and say is, please keep reaching out. Please keep the comments coming. I enjoyed chatting with you guys, and like I said, I just made this video really quick because there have been a lot of people, even to this day, still complaining about the pricing of the C8Z06, about the limited production of the C8Z06. And the thing about it all is, I can understand if you were complaining truly about not being able to get your hands on one. But a lot of this complaining is coming from saying GM is overpricing this vehicle. They haven't been true to the Corvette Loyalist. They made the people that's been their customers for years impossible for them to get their hands on a car. And the list goes on and on and on. And for all of you, I sit there and say is GM built this car for a different market, and they have succeeded. And you want to know how they succeeded? The C8 has been the largest produced Corvette ever. The C7 didn't crack 100,000 cars in production. As of year to date, this car is over 140,000 cars produced. And now as over 140,000 cars produced, we still have more model years coming. I will be honest with you, I was 100% wrong. My expectations for the C8, including the C8Z06, including the C8 E-Ray, including the C8 ZR1, and including Zora, was 145,000 cars totally produced. We haven't even released E-Rays on the street, and we're over 141,000 cars. So all I can sit there and say to you is, this is GM's last hurrah. They have already produced more Corvettes than they have ever done in the past, in any particular year, in any particular make or body style. And the market is still demanding more. So if you don't even understand the relevance of that, it will always be hard for you to understand how they built a special car and they're asking for what it's worth. Why I say for what it's worth is because if you can put a market number out there, an MSRP of a certain dollar amount, and the car continues to sell above it, then you know it's worth the money. ICNV Driver's Edition. Go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Join the ICNV Driver's Edition community. Like I said before, this is an interactive community. So if you reach out to me on any one of my social media platforms or in the comments below, I will do my best to respond and possibly make a video about the topic you bring up. But as always, remember to chase your dreams, build your visions. It is okay to be unique. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see you in these streets.